This is a station identification moment. You're listening to CPR Worldwide Media, a division of CPR Media Network, coming to you live right across the planet. Check out our website at www.cprworldwidemedia.com and our Facebook page at facebook.com/CPR Worldwide Media. This is CPR Media Network, coming to you live from the USA.
Well, looky here, a new listener. Hey, this ain't your little sister's radio station.
From all of us at CPR Worldwide Media to all of you, Merry Christmas. Hey, who put eggnog in my eggnog?
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Good tidings we bring to you here again. Good tidings for Christmas and a Happy New Year. We all know that Santa's coming. We all know that Santa's coming. We all know that Santa's coming, and soon he'll be here. Tidings we bring to you and your kin. Good tidings for Christmas and a Happy New Year. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
All of us at CPR Worldwide Media would like to wish all of you a very Merry Christmas. Oh, holy crap, I think I just set on an elf.
It's not about how many miles you can get out of the C-Max Hybrid. It's about how much life you can fit into it. The Ford C-Max Hybrid, with an EPA estimated range of 540 miles on a tank of gas, and all the room you need to enjoy the trip. Go stretch out. Go further.
Come on, Harry!
Dumb and Dumber 2 is the #1 movie in America.
Am I right? What?
Seriously, it's #1.
These guys are morons! I like her a lot.
Dumb and Dumber 2, rated PG-13, now playing.
However dark the night, however dim our hopes, the light is always there within you.
His family gave him hope.
You fight harder than those other guys, and you win.
His spirit gave him strength.
We're gonna die out here.
We're not dying!
And in his darkest hour,
who is the Olympic athlete?
His faith would not be broken.
Hello, Mother and Father. This will be the first time in 2 years that you'll have heard my voice. I wish you all a Merry Christmas. Your loving son, Louis.
On Christmas Day, experience the unbelievable true story of one man's journey home.
You can take it. You can make it. Just gotta believe you can.
If I can take it, I can make it.
Unbroken, rated PG-13, Christmas Day.
Read something recently worth thinking about. It's the soldier, not the campus organizer, who's given us freedom to demonstrate. It's the soldier, not the reporter, who's given us freedom of the press. It's the soldier, not the poet, who's given us freedom of speech. It's the soldier who serves under the flag, who defends the protesters' right to burn the flag. Isn't it time now to demonstrate that we support our troops? Were it not for the brave, there'd be no land of the free.
Fred Thompson's message was brought to you by citizensunited.org.
We are living in times where there is an assault on sanity. Political correctness has run amok and logic has been left by the wayside. Do you constantly ask yourself, WTF is going on in this nation? Do you sometimes feel like a stranger in your own country? Well, fear not. You are not alone. This is the Whiskey Tango Foxtrot Show, coming to you from deep inside flyover country with your hosts, V. Wright and Jose Estevez.
Good evening, everybody. It's Thursday. It's What the F, and I am V. Wright.
And hi, folks. I'm Jose Estevez. Welcome to the show. Remember, as always, we are coming to you live, unrehearsed, unscripted, and unpolitically correct. Welcome to the final edition for this week of the Whiskey Tango Foxtrot radio show.
Well, Jose, how was your day?
It wasn't that great, but we won't dwell on that. We won't dwell on that, I guess. I'm still alive. I'm on the right side of the grass, so I guess we'll just bypass that whole thing right there.
Take it where you can get it.
Right.
Hey,
V, can I give a shout out?
Yes, you can.
Hey, I want to give a shout out to the Chinese. Yes, folks, the People's Republic of China, the Chi-Coms, Red China, whatever you want to call them. Guess what, folks? They are now number one and we're number two. Their economy just overtook the United States economy to become the largest in the world. For the first time since Ulysses S. Grant was president, America is not the leading economic power on the planet. Here's what it means. This year, China will produce $17.6 trillion worth of real goods and services, compared with 17.4 for us. And sadly, as recently as 2000, we produced nearly 3 times as much as the Chinese. Now they've overcome us. But I'm sure that's all Bush's fault. But nonetheless, let's give a big shout out to the Chi-Coms, and let's see what else they do. Let's see if they can maintain their edge, or if our current usurper-in-chief is going to bring us back to the position of number one. I don't think that's his goal, though, to be honest.
Well, that's not his goal, and that's not going to happen. As we reported earlier this week, what was the number that we borrow from them? Over $1 trillion
I think,
a year? Yeah. Plus the interest on that?
Right.
I don't see us. As a matter of fact, they're overtaking us with our own money.
Right.
I mean, let's be honest. It is unbelievable. You look at the American people as a whole, and I'm not talking about just patriots, and I'm not just talking about people who genuinely have concern, voters or what have you. I'm talking about the whole population. Really? Is there really that much? As I gander upon the masses, it is of no surprise at all that we have fallen to number 2. And quite honestly, if these people maintain their intellect that are currently out there, I see us at number 10 in as little as 5 years.
Right. Well, and it's things that are happening on campuses nationwide, how they're intentionally trying to weaken us by weakening the kids, not teaching them critical skills. And of course, once again, not with its broad strokes, but we've got a lot of good people out there, a lot of good kids out there. But I do think there is a direct attack on making this country in, the fundamental transformation. And it certainly, even though he said it and meant it, it didn't start with Hussein Obama himself. This has been something I've said and maintained that has been their long game since the 30s, 40s, 50s, and on. And they've just gone after it and kept going for it. And we were all distracted. We kept distracted. And now look where they're at. I think it's very intentional.
We compromised, and like they're wanting to compromise today. Right. Why compromise at this point? We don't have enough to lose to compromise anymore.
That's a good point. Very good point.
I mean, we compromise anything else, we have nothing.
at some point you got to stand and fight and stand up for what you believe in. But I guess the Republicans don't quite believe that. But they did send him a kind of a strongly worded message today.
Oh, and, did they tap his butt?
They're all patting their backs for that. Oh, that we did so much. But really it amounts to a strongly worded message that, oh, you naughty boy, you shouldn't have done this. Full of sound and fury, signifying nothing, my opinion.
Well, mine as well. And as the American public pays attention, I mean, that's what they're seeing too. And to be quite honest with you, they won't do it, I don't expect, but they should stand their ground in Washington, D.C. If they have to spend Christmas on the floor, then they spend Christmas on the floor and constantly vote no. Hold out till January 3rd when there is viable power. What people don't understand is thanks to Pelosi and Harry Reid, they have enacted powers that we can take advantage of, and that's 50% votes.
Good point. Yeah. There's a lot, folks, that can transpire between today, December 4th, 2014, and the beginning of January when the new Congress is sworn in. There is a whole lot that can happen. We reported earlier this week that Harry Reid was talking about keeping them later, not releasing them for the Christmas vacation because there's a lot of work to be done, even though the past several years at least 300 bills have sat on his desk, and he's just been obstinate and blocking everything. Tabled them. I mean, so now all of a sudden everything's got to be done, and that's how they do these things. Think about it. Well, Obamacare being a prime example. When did that pass? In the middle of the night. I mean, this is their modus operandi, their MO. This is how they work.
Everything has to be done yesterday. And if Republicans had a brain in their head, if any of the Democrats that have retained their seats had a brain in their head, they would all say no until January.
Right.
I mean, it would be, no, we're not voting for anything. No, we're not voting. We're voting down anything that occurs between now and January. And if every single Republican would do that, I don't think any of their crap would get very far, because there are a few Democrats who are jumping ship. Prime example was today's vote. 3 Democrats jumped ship and joined the Republicans.
Right.
And it was enough to kill it. So, hey, you know. Anyway, we do have some good news, Jose.
Yes, we do. Go ahead.
No, I was passing it to you, silly.
We always like good news. Give me the good news, V. Come on.
Well, how it occurred, I have no idea. But the victims of the Fort Hood shooting will soon be eligible to receive Purple Hearts.
Yay. I mean, I wish we had like an applause thing where you could hear applause and people yelling and screaming, because, folks, this is a big one. They are going to rule that the Army Major Nidal Hassan spree was domestic terrorism, not workplace violence, which means, like V said, Fort Hood shooting victims will soon be eligible to receive the Purple Heart. And that also means as soon as after the defense bill is signed into law, that will make the way for that. And that is just going to be huge, because I believe this is also going to be enough to give them benefits and stuff like that they need for the families that are remaining as well. And yeah, it says it right here. Classifying the Fort Hood shooting and potentially future attacks like it as a terrorist attack would open up more benefits to the families of those who were killed, including combat-related compensation, such as what a family would receive if a soldier was killed in Iraq or Afghanistan. And don't forget, this also means that the civilians killed or injured can receive the Medal for the Defense of Freedom. This is amazing news, folks. This is amazing news, because remember, this was workplace violence and not domestic terrorism, which means they were very much downplaying the fact that he flat outright shouted Allahu Akbar, Arabic for God is great, while going on the shooting spree that left 13 dead and more than 30 injured. So this is really big, and boy, this is a win. And now it hasn't happened yet, but it looks like it's going to go through. They've been working on this ever since this vile act occurred. They've been working on this. That was back in 2009. And I'm telling you what, this is some good news and a huge win for the families of the victims. And rest in peace to all of them. And maybe the families can finally get some closure. And we're finally starting to call it exactly what it is, and that is domestic terrorism.
Period.
So that's wonderful. I mean, this is the best news I saw all day.
It was me too. It was me too. Absolutely. Because everything else I've got, you just want to walk up to somebody in D.C. and just slap the daylights out of them. You don't care if it's a tourist or whatever. If they're on the streets on D.C., you just want to walk up and smack them for being there.
Right. Unfortunately, one of the things I saw in the story as well was Hassan was sentenced to the death penalty in 2013, but the appeals process is expected to last for years, if not decades. They had to just take him out and put the gun to his head. Well, let's give him a shooting squad or something like that and do it. I mean, come on.
Firing squad, electric chair, I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, really. Yeah.
Electricity's cheap right now.
So, yeah, this is, boy, you talk about a Christmas present just in time for these families. And after all these years, this is just amazing. Since 2009, they've been working on this, and it's just been a doggone shame that it's taken this long. But finally, light at the end of the tunnel. It looks like it's going to happen, and we're never going to forget them. Of course, we read all the names of everybody. Actually, the one night a couple weeks ago, remember, V? And
yes,
we're never going to forget all those people because that was a despicable act of a coward Muslim.
Imagine that.
One of the violent Muslims, of course. Not all are violent. Remember what the Pope said?
Don't go there with me. Do not go there.
The Pope
what the difference is?
Islam was violence.
You know what the difference is? The moderate Muslim wants the extremists to behead you. That's the difference.
They just don't take part in the action. But they certainly aren't protesting against the violent ones or speaking out against them or condemning their behavior.
Not only are they not doing so, but behind the closed doors of their mosques, they are singing a whole different tune.
Oh, sure. You better believe it. Oh, yeah. You'd like to know what goes on in those mosques. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I don't think
we know some
it,
of what. I don't think that they would let me in. As a matter of fact, I think my picture is probably posted in everyone across the country.
Definitely. It definitely is at the one in Dearborn, and I can assure you of that. And I suspect after early next year when you go back, and I do believe you will, you'll be renowned in some circles.
Do you honestly think that I would return?
Oh, I do. You said you would. I know you will. As soon as you said you would, I know you will. There's no doubt about it in my mind. Yeah.
See, people don't understand me. We've got people out in this world that say that they're going to do something and, life gets in the way or they forget or they do so. They say so with the best of intentions. Mm-hmm. I'm not one of those people.
No. You just went to D.C. a couple weeks ago on a whim. One night you said you were going to go. Heck, the next night you were there. When he was going to sign the executive order not the night he was going to sign, he was going to sign it the next day, but the night that it was all going to go through, the executive order on illegal immigration, better known as amnesty to most of us in the real world that reside in the real world.
No, I'm not one of those people that says I'm going to do something and not do it. I never have been, and I guess, if nothing else, I'm consistent. Oh, my golden boy is here.
Oh,
hey, Bradley.
Boy.
Hi, guys from Princeton. Thank you for joining us tonight. And everyone else out there. I don't mean to exclude you.
No, we value everyone equally. But V's got a special spot in her heart for Bradley and their Princeton kids. And so do I. I mean, I'm glad that we've got people, kids at an institution of higher learning at a university like that are interested in what's going on in the world, that have some knowledge and are willing to gain more. Even though I don't know that V and I are the best people to do it, but I guess we are because we're passionate and we know enough. And we have an interesting way of putting it out there as well.
Well, they have been with us since day one.
Yes, they have.
And in Bradley's defense, he has brought a lot of listeners to our show.
Mm-hmm. Sure, you bet.
And we're just really, he's just a sweet kid. Good God, he's just a good kid.
Oh boy,
he's just.
You better send him a card or a gift. What do people send nowadays? You don't send a fruitcake or anything like that.
No, I wouldn't send anybody a fruitcake. Well, I would send a Muslim a fruitcake.
A fruitcake made with ham?
Yeah, a little pork fat in it. It'd be all right.
See how much they enjoy that. But now you better send him a gift or something like that. Come on, seriously.
I love Bradley. I'm not even going to play. Mm-hmm. We all know that. And we all know that I don't love a lot of people, but I do love Bradley.
Right. Well, yeah, we appreciate them as well as everybody else out there across the United States and indeed the world that's listening to us and that listens through the recast throughout the week as well. We really appreciate it.
Amen to that. And you know what? We have over 89 countries that tune in our show. Mm-hmm. And we are just so blessed and thankful that you guys value what we say or find entertainment value in what we do here. For the most part, we're just rolling with it, guys. Honestly, when we say unscripted,
unrehearsed,
and we do there are days where the senor and I may not speak until 15 minutes before show.
Right. Yeah, last night, it was one, and I thought we had a great show last night. High energy, lots of information. We had some great callers, just some great interaction. And last night, I didn't even get out of work till about 6:15, and the show goes live at 7. So it's like, driving home, having something to eat, and getting down here. And I mean, I don't know how we do it, but we did it. And maybe it's better when it's spontaneous like that and we're not pre-planning what we're saying. Maybe that's part of what makes it work. I don't know. But there's also some other good news today. I noticed that a gas station somewhere in Oklahoma, it was just a news story that kind of was in one eye and out the other eye very quickly like that, was $1.99 for a gallon of regular. Wow. It's still $2.64 where I'm at, and I'm not complaining, but $1.99. Holy smokes, whoever thought we would see that price again.
Well, I hate to burst your bubble.
I know what you're going to say.
But gasoline prices have been plummeting.
Yeah.
And due to that, Representative Tom Petrie of Wisconsin and Earl Blumenauer of Oregon have decided that we need an uptick of 15 cents a gallon in taxes, in gas taxes. Well, because, those shovel-ready jobs that we paid for.
Yeah, I remember
all that road work that was ready to go. Yeah, all that road work that was ready to go.
Right. Shovel-ready.
Billions of dollars that we funneled into that. Well, obviously they weren't shovel ready because nothing's been done, and we need more money for the transportation.
Yeah. Well, don't forget they say some of the issue is the cars that are now more efficient are they take less gas and so they're not paying as many taxes. I mean, they've always got an excuse to raise taxes. There's always something that they can blame to raise taxes. I know the state of Michigan recently made a proposal and voted on it. I don't think it went to the Senate yet. I think it went to the House. Not 100% sure, but it was going to make Michigan have the highest gas taxes in the nation. So you would expect, of course, that all the roads are going to be the best in the nation, correct? But I'm sure that people will hold their breath waiting for that.
Well, you figure right now it stands at about 18 cents a gallon. Mm-hmm. Okay, for federal tax. They're talking talking about raising it another 15 cents a gallon. So that's going to take it 33 cents a gallon.
That's almost doubling it. That's substantial, folks. 15 cents doesn't sound like much, but when you're paying 18 cents for federal, and obviously that's almost doubling it. Wow, that is huge.
Then on top of that, the average state tax on a gallon of gasoline is 23 cents.
Right, it is higher than federal, correct. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, they're going to keep inching it up. Now you sit here and you think, okay, well, it's a gallon of gas and $1, or whatever it's going to be, 50 cents, 45 cents is not that big of a deal.
Mm-hmm.
But guys, you're talking about on every gallon of gas sold in this country, and it would be different if we knew that they were going to use the money efficiently and effectively, but we know that that's not going to happen because it doesn't take 8 people to fill a pothole.
Right. Well, and there's 2 things I've got to say here, folks. Here's a quote from one of them. We all use our roads, bridges, and rail, whether we're Republicans or Democrats, rural or urban. This should be our last gas tax increase ever, as we look for fairer and more sustainable funding methods, but it's necessary to bridge the gap and keep our country moving along. Does he think that anybody would buy that for a second? This should be our last gas tax increase ever. And then, of course, these people are so disingenuous. They always use Ronald Reagan Ronald Reagan did it, and that's what they said. Well, Ronald Reagan did it. So anti-tax advocate Grover Norquist with Americans for Tax Reform said that Reagan admitted his gas tax hike was, according to Reagan, quote, was the biggest mistake he made as president. But they always want to throw Ronald Reagan in there because they know how many of us on the conservative side hold him in high esteem.
When they were pushing it back in Reagan, it was, this will be the last time we ever have to raise the gas tax. I kid you not. I heard that then. I mean, I happen to be old enough to remember this crap.
Right. Well, we've also got to remember when we had Reagan, too. I mean, the economy was totally different coming out of the Carter years. I mean, what was it? Interest rate on houses was, 15+%? I mean, and, there was, of course, all the gas shortages in the 70s. I mean, it was totally different. But for them to say that this should be our last gas tax increase ever, yeah, this should be. But I'll tell you what, folks.
You know what that makes me think of, in all honesty? Have you ever seen the original pamphlet sent out to support Social Security?
No. Mm-mm.
Okay. What it said at that time, and I'm going off memory, okay? So I may not be totally 100% accurate.
Mm-hmm.
But in essence, it will never cost more than, and it was a pittance, ever in life. And it will always be there. And I can't remember. It seems like to me that your input into Social Security was never going to be more than 2% of your take home. I mean, of your gross.
Mm-hmm.
2%. It was never going to be.
Wow.
Check those numbers today, folks.
Do you know what they are today, V? I don't know what they are.
I am not certain. I can find out. Absolutely. And you know what? We will come back to that because we will find that out.
Definitely.
But, I mean, it was sold on a pipe dream of it will always be there. It is a retirement plan. You won't even notice it. And it's going to provide all of these benefits for you. Well, you know what? They were reported last week, don't you? With the addition of all the illegals, Social Security will be bankrupt in the year 2024.
Yikes. Yikes.
And let's not even take into account all the money the government has borrowed from Social Security. I mean, just like but of course it doesn't take the priority that they borrowed from the Chinese.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They just sit there and they raid the coffers, and then they add all of these new people to it. It's absolutely ridiculous. But, I mean, that's just like the Obamacare. Oh, it's going to be the greatest thing. It's going to lower rates. Every household will save at least $2,500 a year. I wonder if the folks getting their premiums right now are feeling that to be the truth.
Man, I still read stories every day that it's going up by leaps and bounds. And I'm going to be honest with you. I can't wait to hear the outcry and the gnashing of teeth from people when they start doing their taxes early on in 2015, when they find out how much their penalties are and all the different things that are going to affect them, because a lot of those things were going to kick in 2015.
And a lot of them have already been amended. Because
Right.
initially, if you were a single individual and you didn't get insurance, you were only going to be taxed $95.
Right.
Not the case.
Not the case.
They have amended it. I think if you're single and you didn't get insurance, they're automatically taking off $1,500 now, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I think
like
that's
I said,
the last number I
think people
heard.
are going to get some serious sticker shock in 2015 when they're working on their taxes.
Well, I had an argument with an idiot earlier today, and I say idiot because this person was an idiot. He was an educated idiot. He was a doctor, and he was sitting here trying to tell me how wonderful ACA was, the Affordable Care Act was for poor. I said, are you serious? He says, well, it helps 60,000 poor people a year. I said, the expansion of Medicaid helps 60,000 people, poor people a year that are contributing not a dime to it. However, you've got over 6 million that are losing their insurance and are going bankrupt trying to maintain it next year. How did that help anything except help 6 million people join the poor folks?
Good point. Good point. Yeah, I mean, there are lots of idiots out there. But, V, we got to take a break. We will continue to talk about idiots and other important topics when we return from break, folks. Stick with us. If you want to call in, as always, the number's the same, 313-462-0068. And we'd love to talk to you on our last show for the week. And, folks, we will be right back. Stay with us.
This is a station identification moment. You're listening to CPR Worldwide Media, a division of CPR Media Network, coming to you live right across the planet. Check out our website at www.cprworldwidemedia.com and our Facebook page at facebook.com/CPR Worldwide Media. This is CPR Media Network, coming to you live from the USA.
Well, looky here, a new listener. Hey, this ain't your little sister's radio station.
Over the next 40 years, the United States population is going to grow by over 90 million people, and almost all that growth is going to be in cities. What's the healthiest and best way for them to grow so that they really become cauldrons of prosperity and cities of opportunity? What we have found is that if that family is moved into safe, green, affordable housing, places that have access to great school systems, access to jobs, and multiple transportation modes, then the neighborhood begins to thrive and really, really take off. The oxygen of community redevelopment is financing. And all this rebuilding that happened could not have happened without organizations like Citi.
One of the things that we really try to do is to collaborate with people like Jonathan Rose, who are really like-minded and really can also provide innovative solutions to social issues.
And Citi has formed a partnership with our company so that we can take all the lessons from the revitalization of urban America to other cities. So we're now working in Chicago and in Washington, D.C., and Newark.
It's branching off of Jonathan's expertise and the fact that he has done so many wonderful affordable housing projects, new development and rehabilitation work. And so we were really seeing that there was a need for his skill in areas even outside of New York.
It's amazing how important safe, affordable housing is to the future of our society.
You meet new people, they want to know what you do. And when you tell them your job is to invest in things like low-income housing and schools and healthcare, they're shocked and they're so surprised that a job like this exists in finance. They always say that they had no idea, and then they want to know how they can get a job like that.
The design of the Ford Escape is clearly intended to grab your eye. Oh, and your foot. Huh, ain't that a kick? The Ford Escape with the foot-activated liftgate. Go open up something interesting. Go further.
Come on, Harry! Dumb and Dumber 2 is the #1 movie in America.
Am I right? What?
Seriously, it's #1.
These guys are morons! I like her a lot.
Dumb and Dumber 2, rated PG-13, now playing.
However dark the night, however dim our hopes, the light is always there within you.
His family gave him hope.
You fight harder than those other guys, and you win.
His spirit gave him strength.
We're gonna die out here.
We're not dying!
And in his darkest hour,
Who is the Olympic athlete?
his faith would not be broken.
Hello, Mother and Father. This will be the first time in 2 years that you'll have heard my voice. I wish you all a Merry Christmas. Your loving son, Louis.
On Christmas Day, experience the unbelievable true story of one man's journey home.
You can take it. You can make it. Just gotta believe you can.
If I can take it, I can make it.
Unbroken, rated PG-13, Christmas Day.
Read something recently worth thinking about. It's the soldier, not the campus organizer, who's given us freedom to demonstrate. It's the soldier, not the reporter, who's given us freedom of the press. It's the soldier, not the poet, who's given us freedom of speech. It's the soldier who serves under the flag, who defends the protesters' right to burn the flag. Isn't it time now to demonstrate that we support our troops? Were it not for the brave, there'd be no land of the free.
Fred Thompson's message was brought to you by citizensunited.org.
And we're back, guys. This is WTF, and I'm V. Wright.
Hi, I'm Jose. Welcome back, folks.
Yeah. Glad to have you guys here with us on a Thursday evening. It's our last show of the week. Guys, I want to remind you to stick around and following our show to DJ Stallion. The Stallion Show will be on, so make sure to tune in. That is always enjoyable, good music, a lot of fun, high energy. So just make sure you tune in. Great job there with the Stallion. I'd also like to take the opportunity to remind you guys that Charles Kaprowitz with the state legislators of the Round Table is on Tuesday nights following our show from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. and on Friday nights from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. And, of course, Right Side Patriots with Craig Andreessen and Diane Sorey is on Wednesday and Saturday mornings. You guys make sure to tune them in as well. That is great programming. I'm telling you, you will be very, very satisfied with tuning them in. Senor.
Yes, ma'am.
Have you heard about Jeff Sessions' latest revelation?
I did. I heard that we're going to hire 1,000 people for the federal government.
1,000 new jobs for those big producers there.
I'm telling you, 1,000 new jobs. And guess
I
what
wonder
they're gonna
if
do?
they're going to be hiring illegals.
Well, no. These are going to be immigration agents to approve applications from illegals. But who knows?
Couldn't they be one and the same?
They might actually hire some illegals. Remember that smart girl out in California, or was it Nevada, that Obama and Reid touted that, she had done so great, but yet she had 3 degrees, 26 years old, probably never worked a day in her life. Of course, she's here illegally. She had no time to become legal in all those years when she was getting all of her degrees. And who knows who paid for those. But maybe they can hire people like that, good, upstanding. Oh, wait, no, they're not citizens. Oh, whatever. Yeah, but 1,000 people are going to get hired, folks. They're buckling down, and there's no way that this all just came out since 2 Fridays ago. There's no way.
Well,
this has been in the works for a long time. Something like this doesn't just happen overnight.
Well, Senator Jeff Sessions, a Republican of Alabama, he is a ranking member of the Senate Budget Committee and a senior member of the Senate Judiciary Committee. Mm-hmm. Said this discovery of a new U.S. citizenship and immigration service facility is intended to process these applications. He goes on to further say it has just been discovered that the Obama administration is now opening a new USCIS facility in Crystal City, Virginia, for the purpose of immediately implementing the president's imperial immigration decree. Now, we notice how he says that. Imperial immigration decree, as if he was royalty.
Well, of course.
They are in the process of hiring 1,000 full-time staff to quickly approve applications for the president's illegal amnesty, which will provide work permits, photo IDs, Social Security, and Medicare to illegal immigrants, i.e. invaders, all benefits that have been rejected by Congress. Now, Obama came out and challenged Congress on the legality of his actions. He says, the actions I'm taking are not only lawful, they're the kind of actions that are taken by every single Republican president and every Democrat president for the half-past century, which is a lie.
Flat-out lie. We've debunked it here on the show multiple times.
I mean, he got an upside-down Pinocchio for that one.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Anyway, and he goes on to say, and to those members of Congress who question my authority to make our immigration system work better or question the wisdom of me acting where Congress has failed, I have but one answer: pass a bill.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got a bill for him. Pass him a dollar bill and tell him to get over it.
So, hey, Crystal City, Virginia, y'all are going to see a lot of illegals coming in and out. That's, wow. Enjoy that. I'm sure that's going to work out well for you, Virginia. Maybe they'll get a little kickback for that. Who knows? Maybe the feds squirreled a little bit extra away for a little kickback for Virginia so they won't complain so much. I don't know.
Well, Jeff Sessions went on to say this facility is a clear symbol of the president's defiance of the American people, their laws, and their Constitution. He is hiring federal employees to carry out the directive that violates the laws Congress has passed in order to foist on the nation laws Congress has repeatedly refused to pass. And let's remember, they have had this conversation many times. I think it's been up for a vote 3 or 4 times, and it has always been defeated. Well, thus far, 17 states have joined together in a lawsuit to challenge the chief resident's executive action on immigration, on invaders. That's per the National Review. They say the president is abdicating his responsibility to faithfully enforce laws that were duly enacted by Congress and attempting to rewrite immigration law, which he has no authority to do, something the president himself has previously admitted. And this
multiple
is Greg.
Times.
This is what Greg Abbott, the Texas now Texas governor, says.
Yep, governor-elect. Yep.
Joining the other 16 states besides Texas that are joining in this lawsuit is Alabama, Georgia, Idaho, Indiana, Kansas, Louisiana, Maine, Mississippi, Montana, Nebraska, North Carolina, South Dakota, Utah, West Virginia, and Wisconsin. And Oklahoma's Attorney General says he expects to join them shortly.
Make 18. There we go.
I know
that's where it's going to have to come from.
On there.
And we both know someone that could talk to us better than anyone out there. We were on his show the other night, who knows so much about the states' rights and has got this. What is it called? V. Remind me of the
state legislators. It's an Article 5. It's the Article 5 Countermand Amendment.
Countermand Amendment. I mean, boy, he could probably talk about that. But there we go. We got 18 states that are, as soon as Oklahoma comes on board, 18 states that are banding together to go against these unlawful proclamations coming out of the palace in Washington, D.C., where the king resides. Well, wannabe king.
Well, some have suggested that implementing this amnesty would not have a financial cost. Folks, we know that to be a lie.
Oh, come on.
But this action unmistakably demonstrates otherwise. Moreover, the USCIS employees themselves have made plain that taxpayers will be on the hook, warning through their union that the agency is an approval machine that will rubber stamp applications for amnesty.
Right. Well, and that makes sense because you've got this scumbag Luis Gutierrez from the state of Illinois who's encouraging illegals to get all their paperwork together because as soon as they're ready, they'll all know. And en masse, they can go probably, I'm assuming, to this place in Virginia and apply for their whatever this is going to be called, amnesty, I call it. But so he probably knows a lot more about it than we do. He's been in the forefront of this thing since the beginning, trying to make this happen, and he's all over the place encouraging illegals to start getting documentation together and be ready. So yeah, like I said, he probably knows a lot more than we do.
Well, the problem with this is, the biggest offenders that we have between this occurring and not occurring is John Bonehead and Mitch McConnell. And, I mean, let's be honest about what's going on there. They're unwilling to risk all alienating Latinos by going to war with the chief resident over amnesty because, God, it might cost a vote. You know what? The fact of the matter is, when polled, legal Latinos in this country have opposed amnesty.
Right. Well, anybody that's come here legally and gone through the process and paid the money and done all the work that it requires, they ought to be against something like this. So you just come here, flout all the laws, do whatever you want, and you just get it automatically. I mean, that's inherently wrong. That's inherently un-American.
It is a slap in the face for every individual who has done what the law requires for them to enter this country.
Right.
And be party to it. Absolutely it is.
Mm-hmm. And of course, do you think if they're willing to do that to get here, do you think that once they are, that's going to change? No, that's who they are. That's inherent in them. That's not going to change. You think that's going to change for anything else that they try to do in their lives?
Well,
I can do whatever I want.
We will go back to
a point.
We'll go back to a point that we have made time and again on this program, and that is they were not at the top echelon of the societies that they came from when they scooted across our border with no clothes, no food, no money.
Right.
What does anyone expect is going to change except we just got 4.5 to 30 million more welfare recipients that the left-leaning party can dangle carrots in front of to navigate them to the polling booth to the correct lever.
Right. And that's what it's all about.
Amen, it is.
Because if a large percentage of them tended to vote for Republican, you can be assured they'd have the biggest fence you can imagine on the southern border and be repelling them with any method necessary. And once again, folks, the people that are so disingenuous that say, well, America is a melting pot made up of immigrants. Okay, you're correct. But they came here, by and large, legally. They came through the system. And also, the even bigger point than that is they came here to assimilate. So in other words, to take good parts of their societies and their heritage and bring them here and kind of, it's all stirred up. It's kind of all blended together. So nobody's better than anyone else. We celebrate all of that, but yet we're Americans first and foremost. We're not hyphenated Americans. We're Americans first and foremost. And so many people we see nowadays waving the flags of their countries, even some cases over top of the American flag. That's not what they're here for, folks. That is not their intention. Their intention is not to assimilate into society. It is to remain apart from society, but take and modify it as much as they can. And it's hard to believe.
And demand that you and I assimilate to them.
That's very good point. Right.
Yeah,
Instead
they do.
Them assimilating into America and becoming Americans, not hyphenated Americans, but becoming Americans, and we're all stronger when we're together. That's not what these people want, by and large. That's not what they want.
It's most definitely not what they want. And we sit here and say, it's sold as, they want a better life. They want a better life. Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, a life of handouts from the United States government is better than what they had. Don't you guys get it? Hello. It isn't they want a better life because they want to learn English, go to get an education, and apply for a small business loan to expand upon their personal growth and in addition to this nation. That isn't what they want. They want a better life. Granted, But let's look at what is a better life. You come from a country where you live in a shack where you may or may not be able to afford to feed your children. Then coming here and being absorbed in the United States welfare system is a much better life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good point. And you've got, of course, then you've got the La Raza people, and that whole thing is about taking back the whole, a lot of the southwestern portion of the United States, because we've taken that from Mexico, and they intend to, reconquista, I think they call it. Reconquista is what they call it. Take that over and reclaim that as part of theirs and something we should have never had. That's what they want, folks.
The fact that the United States paid Mexico for the land is just totally lost on them. But right. That's a typical liberal tactic. Mm-hmm. If you don't want to hear, if you want to stick your head in the sand and have that ostrich mentality and constant deniability, you just plug your ears and blah 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 blah. I can't hear you. Crap. Then that's what you do, and that's what they do. And it's what I see all too frequently in just about every liberal I encounter. Mm-hmm. Every little wanna fit in college student I come across. Mm-hmm. And let's face it, this push for communism and socialism is not because they have any idea on most campuses what they're talking about. It is a social acceptance movement. It's I need to be a part so desperately that I will agree to whatever with zero knowledge of what it means.
It's the cool thing. It's trendy. Like the kids wearing the Che Guevara T-shirts with his face on them. They don't realize what he was all about. I mean, it's just one of those trendy things that they really don't know, and somehow it's become socially accepted and like I said, trendy and cool to be as part of that. And I don't know how they can do that because first of all, these kids aren't paying attention. They aren't reading. They aren't delving into it. Because you would see that how many millions upon millions, hundreds of millions, I'm not sure, have died in the last century or so from communism throughout the world. Oh boy. That tells me all I need to know right there.
I mean, it just blows your mind how desperately people want to fit in. And you know what, folks? You know what? When I was a kid, we fit in. You want to know how we fit in? Because we lived in neighborhoods where our neighbors knew one another. And kids played together in the street. They didn't hide everyone away in the house with video games and refused to let them play in the backyard because it's not fenced in.
Right.
It wasn't, oh, well, I'm so fearful of the guy down the street that, my kids and I don't, we're not going to venture outside. Has society become that terrified? Because I'm not experiencing that level of fear.
Neither am I.
I mean, I know every neighbor on my street.
I know most, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I know every neighbor on my street. First name basis,
right.
And some of them like me and some of them don't.
Well, yeah. Well, that's always going to be the case. I mean, no matter where you are.
But all the neighborhood kids and some from the surrounding area come and play basketball in the street in front of my house. Mm-hmm. And yes, when they get out of control and I hear a 10-year-old out there using foul language, yes, I will march my behind out that front door, and I don't care what color your kid is, I'm fixing to yell at them. And don't make me go get your parents, because on this street we still believe in that. Mm-hmm. I mean, and the parents appreciate it because they know somebody else is looking out for their kids. It actually gives them a break.
That's exactly what I think with my daughters when they're playing in the backyard, whether it's on the trampoline or running around, or even with my older daughter bringing her friends over. I would much rather have them over here because they're at the age you don't have to watch them every second, but at least I know they are here, and I have an idea what they're doing electronically or that sort of thing. So, and I trust all their parents. parents of their friends. But once again, I just kind of like having him here, and then the noise level and stuff, and it's just kind of homey. It's kind of fun. But like I said, then I know what they're doing, and I don't have to be keeping tabs on them per se, looking at them all the time. I just know they're around, they're having fun, and sometimes running back and forth between neighbors' houses, hanging out. But I just like that, and I think the neighbor people like it as well. We've kind of got that mutual understanding that at least they're within several houses, and we just let them be kids. My God, they're outside playing, folks. That's half the battle right there.
Yeah,
get them
vitamin
away
C from the sunshine is an awesome thing.
Yeah, get them away from the video games and the iPods and all that stuff, and let them go out and use their imaginations and get exercise and just play. Whether it's hide and seek or jumping on the trampoline, just let them be kids. That's what kids need more of.
Well, you brought something to my attention today, out of Austin, Texas.
Oh yeah, Austin, Texas. That police chief down there.
Mm-hmm.
If you see something, say something, basically. Except he's kind of got a little bit of a change on that, folks. And I don't have it right in front of me, but he's got this thing that if you know a neighbor or somebody that has a lot of interest in guns, and if they hate people, then maybe you should report that to the police. Wow.
Yeah, I mean that's what he said. That is exactly. The police chief in Austin. What's his name? Acevedo.
It's a Hispanic guy. That's all I remember.
Yeah, Acevedo.
I don't remember his name.
He's telling everybody to curb future shootings.
Yeah, they did have a shooting down there. Mm-hmm.
Tell your friends and family members who love guns, especially if they hate anyone, come tell us. Tell the cops. Tell the cops.
Sure.
And he says it's to vet them.
Right.
Vet gun owners. That's what he's looking to do, is vet gun owners. So, he's taken it upon himself to determine whether or not the citizens in the city of Austin are good enough to own weapons.
Right.
Now,
Because,
I don't know about you guys, but I say it ain't none of his damn business. The Second Amendment guarantees you certain rights, and Texas is pushing forward with the assurance of a bill, with the assurance that not only can no one in Texas say anything about the Second Amendment, but the federal government can't either.
Right. They're also moving forward on open carry, which, surprisingly enough, folks, lots of other states have open carry, and you would just assume that Texas does, but they do not. But Greg Abbott, the governor-elect, has said that as soon as he's signed in, if he's got a bill, he'll sign it, and then Texas will join the ranks of states that have the ability to open carry firearms and not simply just concealed carry. So there we go. So they're making, and then, like I said, it's kind of surprising. You would think Texas has that, but they don't. But they've been working hard for it, and it looks like they're going to get it. And so good for them. But I mean, yeah, this is just creepy stuff. If you know a friend or relative that has guns, and if you think they hate someone, then report them to the police. Wow. You ever heard of 1984, folks? You ever read that book? Ever had any interaction with that? Thought crime, arresting people before things have happened because they've thought them. I mean, police state, have we ever heard of that? I mean, holy smokes.
Well, it's along the same lines of that witch in the White House, you go and tell your teacher now if your family don't like black folks or don't like white folks or don't like Asian folks or don't like Muslims. You go tell your teacher. Let your principal at the school know. You got a lot of nerve, lady.
I'm telling you what. Hey,
well, these folks need to remember, thanks to Bill Clinton, the day is coming where they will have to deal with the real world or hire private security. Because thanks to Bill Clinton, Secret Service only does that job for 10 years once you leave office.
Oh, yeah,
so sooner or later, you are going to have to deal with some of these people whose lives you made so dadgum miserable.
Mm-hmm. Oh, good point.
Either that or you can do like so many other losers that you seem to enjoy the company of, and that is move to another country.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I get so mad. I really do. I'm trying to contain it.
We got to go into the break, but I just wanted to say, I think it was yesterday that El Presidente hosted a bunch of Native Americans in the White House. Can we still call them Indians? I'm not sure.
Wait a minute. I am part Indian, and I was not invited to the White House.
Imagine that. But I didn't
racist. They're racist. They're racist. They're racist against my Irish half.
You want to hear racist? They've named him, and evidently this was back in 2008 or 2009. They gave him a traditional Indian name, and it's Barack Black Eagle Obama. I mean, shouldn't it be half Black Eagle or something, or is that just completely racist? But Black Eagle is his Indian name.
I don't know. Are you sure that's not Black Eagle takes dump on something? I'm just wondering.
Well, I can, probably think of a few other things. But yeah, Barack Black Eagle Obama. So whatever. I don't know that it means anything, but we got to take a break at the top of the hour. Folks, we got another hour when we come back with you. Feel free to call us at 313-462-0068. We will be back in a few minutes, and hopefully you will join us.
This is a station identification moment. You're listening to CPR Worldwide Media, a division of CPR Media Network, coming to you live right across the planet. Check out our website at www.cprworldwidemedia.com and our Facebook page at facebook.com/CPR Worldwide Media. This is CPR Media Network, coming to you live from the USA.
Well, looky here, a new listener. Hey, this ain't your little sister's radio station.
Over the next 40 years, the United States population is going to grow by over 90 million people, and almost all that growth is going to be in cities. What's the healthiest and best way for them to grow so that they really become cauldrons of prosperity and cities of opportunity? What we have found is that if that family is moved into safe, green, affordable housing, places that have access to great school systems, access to jobs, and multiple transportation modes, then the neighborhood begins to thrive and really, really take off. The oxygen of community redevelopment is financing. And all this rebuilding that happened could not have happened without organizations like Citi.
One of the things that we really try to do is to collaborate with people like Jonathan Rose, who are really like-minded and really can also provide innovative solutions to social issues.
And Citi has formed a partnership with our company so that we can take all the lessons from the revitalization of urban America to other cities. So we're now working in Chicago and in Washington, D.C., and Newark.
It's branching off of Jonathan's expertise and the fact that he has done so many wonderful affordable housing projects, new development and rehabilitation work. And so we were really seeing that there was a need for his skill in areas even outside of New York.
It's amazing how important safe, affordable housing is to the future of our society.
You meet new people, they want to know what you do. And when you tell them your job is to invest in things like low-income housing and schools and healthcare, they're shocked and they're so surprised that a job like this exists in finance. They always say that they had no idea, and then they want to know how they can get a job like that.
The most amazing thing about the Ford Fusion isn't the way it looks. The most amazing thing is the way it sees. With blind spot technology, a lane-keeping system, and a standard rear-view camera, the Fusion is ready for whatever comes your way. Go prepared. Go further.
Come on, Harry! Dumb and Dumber 2 is the #1 movie in America.
Am I right? What?
Seriously, it's #1.
Insane. These guys are morons! I like her a lot.
Dumb and Dumber 2, rated PG-13, now playing.
However dark the night, however dim our hopes, the light is always there within you.
His family gave him hope.
You fight harder than those other guys, and you win.
His spirit gave him strength.
We're gonna die out here.
We're not dying!
And in his darkest hour,
Who is the Olympic athlete?
his faith would not be broken.
Hello, Mother and Father. This will be the first time in 2 years that you'll have heard my voice. I wish you all a Merry Christmas. Your loving son, Louis.
On Christmas Day, experience the unbelievable true story of one man's journey home.
You can take it. You can make it. Just gotta believe you can.
If I can take it, I can make it.
Unbroken, rated PG-13, Christmas Day.
Read something recently worth thinking about. It's the soldier, not the campus organizer, who's given us freedom to demonstrate. It's the soldier, not the reporter, who's given us freedom of the press. It's the soldier, not the poet, who's given us freedom of speech. It's the soldier who serves under the flag, who defends the protesters' right to burn the flag. Isn't it time now to demonstrate that we support our troops? Were it not for the brave, there'd be no land of the free.
Fred Thompson's message was brought to you by citizensunited.org.
So don't tell me who's wrong and right when liberty starts slipping away. And if you ain't gonna fight, get out of the way. 'Cause freedom makes so free when you breathe red and white and blue. I'm giving all of myself, 'cause that's what I do. And they call me warrior. They call me loyalty. And they call me ready to provide relief and help out wherever you need me to be. I'm an American warrior, citizen soldier. I'm an American warrior, citizen soldier. Citizen soldier. I'll never leave another behind. I will never accept defeat. I'm a soldier in war, civilian in peace. 'Cause freedom makes so free when you breathe red and white and blue. I'm giving all of myself. How about you? And they call me warrior. They call me loyalty. And they call me ready to deploy, engage and destroy whenever you need me to be. I'm an American warrior, citizen soldier. I'm an American warrior, citizen soldier. Citizen soldier. Citizen soldier.
Welcome back, guys. It's WTF, and I'm V. Wright.
And I'm Jose Estevez. Welcome back, folks.
Well, senor, have you heard about the refusal of the regime?
Oh, the IRS, you mean? Hey, how's Lois Lerner doing? Is she in prison yet? Yeah, right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, her and Eric Holder are sharing a cell these days.
Oh, yeah, sure. Mm-hmm.
You know, along with Loretta Lynch and, you know, Jay Johnson and
Yeah.
Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi and Harry Reid.
Hold on a minute. Snap out of it. You're having a dream. You're having a daydream.
Yeah, that's
Snap out of it.
wishful thinking on my part.
Wishful thinking. There you go.
Well, it seems the administration said that it is withholding all of the thousands of pages of documents related to the White House coordination with the Internal Revenue Service during the IRS conservative targeting scandal. The Secretary of Treasury, Jacob Lew, Obama's former White House Chief of Staff, took the documents that were set to be released and now refuses to ever turn them over. Want to know his reason?
Yeah, what is his reason?
Says it's information that is illegal. It's confidential taxpayer information that's illegal to transfer to anyone else. Oh, Lord. Now, the Treasury Department Inspector General found nearly 2,500 pages of documents that had confidential taxpayer information that the White House had communicated with the IRS about.
2,500 pages of documents. That's a heck of a stack of paper right there.
Well, all told, there's over 2,043 pages of documents that have been determined to be responses that were collected by the Secretary of Treasury with respect to the determination of possible liability under Title 26 of the United States Code. Unbelievable.
I'm telling you what.
But they weren't in collusion. They weren't in collusion? Well, seriously? Now, do you honestly think anything that comes out of anything called white anything, whether it's the White House, the White Mosque, or anything, it was white? For God's sakes, it can't be doing anything wrong. We learned yesterday that white folks don't go to jail.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, but these people are slimy. They're liars. They're crooked. I mean, in my opinion, of course. It's just one man's opinion. But I'm telling you what.
Well, if it is any consolation, if there's any consolation at that, it is not just one man's opinion.
Well, I figure I'm probably not alone out there, but I mean, seriously, 2,500 pages of documents. What the heck is going on? I mean, tell you what, where there's smoke, there's fire, folks, and there's smoke everywhere around this administration, this regime.
But didn't we know that? We knew that from those folks who came forward and said, these are the communications that we got. This, they were ready to throw two folks from Cincinnati under the bus. Okay, well we've got a few other folks, at the D.C. office we need to throw under the bus. Well, that didn't work. It didn't go away. Little by little, everything was coming out. We knew from the get-go that it was a constant communication at the very minimum between the White House legal team and Lois Lerner. That was at the very minimum, and we all knew that the legal team would not be acting without direction from the White House. Whether or not that direction was directly at Obama or from Obama or not, it was coming at his desire because somebody thought that they were making him happy by doing it from the get, at the very minimum.
Right. I'm going to say that what this administration is doing on a daily basis makes... I'll tell you what, we owe a heck of an apology to Nixon. This is Nixon on steroids. No, there's no comparison.
No, there is no comparison.
There's no comparison to what Nixon
did. And I'm going to tell you this, Nixon had the dignity to resign.
I was just thinking the same thing. He actually had the dignity to resign because he knew it was best for the country. And boy, do you think anybody in this regime has any thoughts like that, ever would have any thoughts like that? They just double down. I mean, this is just sickening.
Well, and the news just keeps getting better and better. I mean, today we find out that the feds paid $76,000 per illegal invader child during the summer surge.
Right. Folks,
they pay. Go ahead.
Yeah. $182 million to a Texas-based group to provide shelter services for illegal immigrant children at 2 military facilities for 4 months. $182 million. Can you imagine that, folks? That number, of course, the name is Baptist Child and Family Services, so I don't know who these people are. But they failed to properly disclose $210,000 in lobbying expenses it has since 2006. Well, I'm telling you what, folks, I don't know if $210,000 is the total amount they spent on lobbying, but regardless, if it was even a little bit more than $210,000, and they just raked in for 4 months $182 million, boy, you talk about a return on investment. I wonder if they're turning that all over to the poor and stuff like that, since their name of their organization is Baptist Child and Family Services. I wonder if they're giving a 10% tithe. Oh, wow. Can you imagine?
Well, you want to hear
money,
this?
folks?
You want to hear this? At the Fort Sill facility, which operated between June 12th and October 18th, they paid $86,846 per bed, and at the Lakeland facility, which was open between May 18th and September 18th, they paid $64,928 per bed. Yeah, you know what? I could have put them up, and they might have learned something. They could have stayed at a Holiday Inn for a few months. They might would have known English when they came out.
Yeah. Well, they're saying here, and let's talk about this for a little bit because people need to hear the figures and really understand the severity of this. BCFS, Baptist Child and Family Services, expensed $18.2 million to provide 3 meals and 2 snacks a day to 1,200 UACs and 822 staff at the Fort Sill facility alone. That is $75 on meals per day over a 120-day period. $75 on meals per day.
Well,
folks.
what's really interesting
Holy
about that?
smokes.
Wait a minute. You want to hear this? The U.S. Department of Agriculture estimates it cost around $10 per day to feed the average American teenager. And they got
these people are getting
$75 a day.
$75 per. Holy smokes. This is sick. This is your money, folks.
I could have bought these folks
money.
a house for $86,000.
This is your money. How many veterans could we take care of and feed? How many, and not just homeless veterans, but how many homeless and people in America that are suffering could we feed for $75 per day? This is disgusting. This is sick. Unfortunately, it continues. And they're saying Obama's lawlessness resulted in an illegal alien surge, which we have discussed on the show, and that we've said that they've actually solicited them to come here to the United States from their countries in South America. They've been actively involved in being the coyotes for a lot of these people coming over. It has cost taxpayers tens of millions of dollars just in 2014. And, of course, that's not talking about the long-term costs of them being here, which have been estimated it's going to be $2 to $3 trillion. Trillion, folks. Can you even fathom what 1 trillion is, much less 2 to 3 trillion? Holy smokes, $75 on meals per day. I am glad we're taking care of them better than we're taking care of anyone that lives here in America. Isn't this a great country?
In most
I am so glad
states.
I go to work every day, work my butt off, and pay my taxes so that illegals can get up to $75 on meals per day.
Well, it's not just
Holy
meals.
smokes,
Let's just not
man,
look at
I'm
meals.
telling you what.
At $86,000 a bed, that's per child.
Right. And this is only a 4-month period, folks.
For 4 months.
This is
okay.
only 4 months.
There is not a state in the United States that you could not have purchased, at least in somewhere located in that state, a house for $86,000.
Mm-hmm.
It is, in essence, giving each and every invader in this country a house.
Right. Isn't that amazing that we can spend that kind of money? It's unfathomable for 4 months that we can spend that kind of money on people that are here illegally and that are just going to continue to take and take and take and take and never provide and never provide, recompense for it.
Well, Judicial Watch President Tom Fitton said in a statement, it is outrageous that the Obama administration spent nearly $200 million of taxpayer funds in 4 months to provide illegal alien children with the types of extravagant, high-tech equipment and lavish benefits many American families cannot even afford for their own children. And very few American workers are bringing home the $80,000 the Obama administration pays the BCFS's incident management team for just 4 months of work. Obama's lawlessness resulted in an illegal alien surge that has cost taxpayers tens of millions of dollars in 2014 alone. Fitton said that because of Obama's new amnesty plan, which was announced last month and is expected to grant reprieve to 5 million immigrants, he expects similar surges of unaccompanied children and other illegal immigrants in the future. And we know that to be a fact because we know they just doubled down on sending out their invitations to come. I mean, just last week, did I tell that story or not? I meant to tell that story, and I had it pulled, and I may not have told it. But just last week, there was information that came out about La Raza type groups and liberal communist groups that are continuing to print the pamphlets and send them to countries like Guatemala, Honduras. They are not, and specifically, they are not targeting Mexican country, the country of Mexico, because it is a border country. And supposedly there's some kind of legal ease there that they are not allowed to do it to any country that directly borders us. And that's why they're going further south.
Right. Well, it says right here, federal law requires that rather than immediate deportation, minors from countries that do not border the U.S. must be turned over to the federal health department while they are able to work through the immigration court system. So there's exactly their reason. They know what the rules are. They're following those rules.
And so they're printing up the pamphlets and saying, if you can get here, and these pamphlets are telling them what all they're entitled to. They can have housing, they can have medical care, they can have education. They will be provided food assistance is what it's called, for that purpose.
Well, and then don't forget what we also talked about last week or the week before, since the show's been going, that also part of his plan is, since all these minors are here now from these foreign countries, that literally now they will find where their parents and relatives are in those countries, and they don't have to take the train, folks. They don't have to take a bus. They are going to send charter flights down there, jet airplanes down there, to pick them up and bring them here and reunite them. They get to bring their whole families. It's been all planned out. So not only are you going to have these kids, however many millions there are, we don't know any real numbers, not sure that we ever will, but now you'll also be paying for all their relatives to come to be reunited with them in the United States and to stay in the United States.
And these are just the ones that we house. These are not the ones that were dropped off at the bus stations in Phoenix, Arizona to be sent or shipped all over the country or taken to the local airport to be flown from one end of the country to the other. These are just the ones that they did not have any place to ship them to, so they housed them for a while.
Well, this is indeed an illegal alien invasion, and it's been facilitated by Coyote-in-Chief himself, Hussein Obama. And, of course, he's good at running guns. He's good at, being a coyote, world's biggest coyote, bringing him here in the United States.
Slave trader.
I mean, in effect, slave trader, destruction of the country that he's supposedly sworn to, defend and uphold the Constitution of. But, of course, we know what he does with the Constitution.
Well, I mean, why would you have any respect for the Constitution if you weren't raised under it, if you weren't, if you have no allegiance to it? And that's what folks miss with this invader situation. These people have no allegiance to this country. And I hear these little dumb girls on TV TV that they interview, and I'm going to, you poor guys, I feel sorry for you educated guys, because y'all don't have a chance hardly at all of having an intelligent woman in your life in the future, because these girls are a bunch of dimwits. They are a 25-watt bulb, okay? I mean, and that's giving them a lot of credit, the night light in the bathroom, that's what you get to look forward to, fellas.
The cheese done slid off the cracker, as I heard the other day for the first time.
Man, I mean, and they're, we shouldn't have borders. There's no reason to have borders. Well, good, go tell Russia and China that they don't have to have borders. Right. See how that works out for you, you nitwit? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Girls, shut up and go get educated.
Right.
By somebody who is not a communist. My golden child from Princeton University, who I have adopted, informs us in chat that the professors there are telling them, as they are across this nation, that communism and socialism is the best form of government because it is the only way for everybody to get treated fairly. Have you been to a socialist country lately? We have an individual on our chat who came from a socialist country to this country, and I'm going to tell you, I wish to God one night that he would call in, and you know who you are, ML. I'm not going to put you on blast like that, but you know who you are. I wish you would call in and give people an insight into what you fled and why.
Right.
Because people don't remember. And we've got too many people coming from communist country that are being brought here and being authorized to come here for the purpose of promoting that agenda, not to flee it. Mm-hmm. So, ML, if you would please call in one night and please inform these people what you fled from and why you chose to do that.
Yeah, that would be a great story, wouldn't it?
That would be awesome. I would
hear from
love
somebody
for
that's
him
actually
to do it.
right. Yeah, that would be wonderful.
I mean, we're sitting here and we're on the cusp and falling into what so many in this country fled. I mean, Senor, you were raised, you spent a great deal of time being raised under a dictatorship.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And in that environment. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, you're a conservative talk show host, so it kind of deflates the message that you get to display from your personal experience. And to me personally, it means everything. And I'm sure to, a lot of our listeners, it means a lot. And, they don't dismiss your experience and knowledge. However, if we've got a guest from our listening base that can come forward that has fled that environment, right. And give that side of the story, I think it really holds water.
Oh, I agree.
What were some of the atrocities that you saw?
Right. We were over there voluntarily, and of course we were still American citizens. I think my dad maintained a dual citizenship for purposes that he needed, to be able to do things over there. But you're right. I mean, it wasn't like, we could leave whenever we wanted to, pretty much. Obviously, we stayed for a long time, but we still had that freedom and stuff. We weren't, citizens of that country and subject to all of their rules. But yeah, I mean, it was brutal, and we did see a lot, and it was a particularly brutal dictatorship. Where you weren't allowed to speak out at all. Nothing. You didn't have freedom.
What were the repercussions if you did?
They disappear in the middle of the night, and they would torture and sometimes not just that person, could be the whole family or parts of the family. There's a great movie out, and I'm trying to remember the name. Oh yeah, the name is The Serpent and the Rainbow. If you want to get an idea what it was while we were there, go check out that movie, The Serpent and the Rainbow. It's got Bill Pullman in it, I think, and it's an older movie, but it's got a lot about the voodoo and stuff like that we experienced on a daily basis as well, which is the outright and open worship of Satan, which is very big in that country. But no, I mean, there was torture, there was death squads and stuff. You didn't speak out against that regime. They would not take that. That just didn't happen.
What were living conditions like under a regime like that?
Well, it's a third world country, so I mean, it's probably the same as many other third world countries. I will say that in my opinion, many of the conditions were better under the dictatorship than they were since we gave them quote unquote democracy in the early 90s when Clinton tried to, free them and try to give them some form of democracy. Sometimes it just doesn't work. Well, of course, democracy is mob rule. We don't have democracy here in the United States either. We have a constitutional republic, but I think
we don't have democracy?
I think. Well,
I thought
right.
I heard thousands of kids marching the streets saying, "This is what democracy looks like."
Right. And it can get ugly too. But no, I mean, the conditions were open sewers, electricity when they decided to give you electricity, sometimes maybe not for days at all, very little quality potable water. We treated every gallon with 8 drops of Clorox to be able to drink it when we were over there to not get sick. I mean, just in general, poor conditions. Most of the roads were dirt roads, not paved. And no sort of infrastructure like stoplights and things like that we take for granted. I mean, it was just the biggest vehicle with the loudest horn. You got the right of way, believe me. Civilians, people, dogs, anything, donkeys, animals, the biggest vehicle with the biggest horn had the right of way, and that was all there was to it.
Well, I've been to Belize, and Belize is like that.
Mm-hmm. Right. But like I said, we just came to love the people, and it's sad because it's such a deforested country, and they have so many issues, but still the people are really good people, and they just, they have very little, but they do appreciate it. And the kids, of course, are just amazing. The kids
I've got great news.
What?
Charles is out of jail.
Charles is out of jail. he got
Happy days.
His time out is over.
Yeah.
There we go. Welcome back, Charles.
Glad to see you, buddy.
Yeah, welcome back, folks. We got to take a break. We will rejoin with Charles and all the rest of you in a few minutes and finish out the program for the week. And we hope you'll join us for the last part.
Be back in a moment.
This is a station identification moment. You're listening to CPR Worldwide Media, a division of CPR Media Network, coming to you live right across the planet. Check out our website at www.cprworldwidemedia.com and our Facebook page at facebook.com/CPR Worldwide Media. This is CPR Media Network, coming to you live from the USA.
Well, looky here, a new listener. Hey, this ain't your little sister's radio station.
Over the next 40 years, the United States population is going to grow by over 90 million people, and almost all that growth is going to be in cities. What's the healthiest and best way for them to grow so that they really become cauldrons of prosperity and cities of opportunity? What we have found is that if that family is moved into safe, green, affordable housing, places that have access to great school systems, access to jobs, and multiple transportation modes, then the neighborhood begins to thrive and really, really take off. The oxygen of community redevelopment is financing. And all this rebuilding that happened could not have happened without organizations like Citi.
One of the things that we really try to do is to collaborate with people like Jonathan Rose, who are really like-minded and really can also provide innovative solutions to social issues.
And Citi has formed a partnership with our company so that we can take all the lessons from the revitalization of urban America to other cities. So we're now working in Chicago and in Washington, D.C., and Newark.
It's branching off of Jonathan's expertise and the fact that he has done so many wonderful affordable housing projects, new development and rehabilitation work. And so we were really seeing that there was a need for his skill in areas even outside of New York.
It's amazing how important safe, affordable housing is to the future of our society.
You meet new people, they want to know what you do. And when you tell them your job is to invest in things like low-income housing and schools and healthcare, they're shocked and they're so surprised that a job like this exists in finance. They always say that they had no idea, and then they want to know how they can get a job like that.
It's not not about how many miles you can get out of the C-Max Hybrid. It's about how much life you can fit into it. The Ford C-Max Hybrid, with an EPA estimated range of 540 miles on a tank of gas, and all the room you need to enjoy the trip. Go stretch out. Go further.
Come on, Harry! Dumb and Dumber 2 is the #1 movie in America.
Am I right? What?
Seriously, it's #1.
These guys are morons! I like her a lot.
Dumb and Dumber 2, rated PG-13. Now playing.
However dark the night, however dim our hopes, the light is always there within you.
His family gave him hope.
You fight harder than those other guys, and you win.
His spirit gave him strength.
We're gonna die out here.
We're not dying!
And in his darkest hour,
Who is the Olympic athlete?
his faith would not be broken.
Hello, Mother and Father. This will be the first time in 2 years that you'll have heard my voice. I wish you all a Merry Christmas. Your loving son, Louis.
On Christmas Day, experience the unbelievable true story of one man's journey home.
You can take it. You can make it. Just gotta believe you can.
If I can take it, I can make it.
Unbroken, rated PG-13, Christmas Day.
Read something recently worth thinking about. It's the soldier, not the campus organizer, who's given us freedom to demonstrate. It's the soldier, not the reporter, who's given us freedom of the press. It's the soldier, not the poet, who's given us freedom of speech. It's the soldier who serves under the flag, who defends the protesters' right to burn the flag. Isn't it time now to demonstrate that we support our troops? Were it not for the brave, there'd be no land of the free.
Fred Thompson's message was brought to you by citizensunited.org.
Welcome back, guys. It's WTF, and I'm V. Wright.
And I'm Jose Estevez.
And we are back with you and enjoying our show. I have to clarify something. I said our friend Charles had been in jail, and I did not clarify social network jail. I might should have done that. I'm just guessing. Yes. Yeah. Sorry about that, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought about that after we went to break. I was like, oh my gosh, we might need to clarify that he was not actually in jail.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, guys, I got a question for you. At what point in this nation does life get out of balance, or in any nation for that matter? I mean, when I was growing up, I was told you need 2.5 children to replace you and your spouse at the very minimum for the population to maintain or for it to continue to grow.
Right.
Well, apparently the national fertility rate edged down last year to a record low. For every 1,000 women of childbearing age, there were just 62 births.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now, us older folks, as we get even older, we're screwed.
Right.
I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm.
But
no, that's a really good point. There is a book written by a talk show host. He fills in for Rush sometimes, Mark Stein. Brilliant man, excellent sense of humor. He wrote a book. It's something about America in the title. I'm looking at one of my stacks of books. I don't see it there, but I'm telling you what, folks, you have to read that because he talks a lot about that, the birth rates throughout the world, and then specifically America, like even Muslims and stuff, and how they're reproducing 2 and 3 times over what we are, and we're not even, and like Britain and other countries are not even at the point where they can replenish themselves, and he's got all the timelines. It is an amazingly fascinating book, excellent to think about. It's kind of depressing in a way. But like I said, it's laid out factually, but also easy to read. So I got to find the name of that book. But that is an amazing book, and it talks directly about that and how countries just kind of populations just kind of disappear because the birth rate doesn't keep up. Where you've got other people whose birth rates are increasing, incrementally compared to that. So I mean, just an amazing book. I've got to find the title for that, V. But that's a good read right there.
Well, I mean, it's not sustainable. I mean, that is a situation. And then we sit here and we talk about the economics of everything, and that really does tie into the economics of everything, because when we have such a low birth rate, who is going to pay the taxes to keep things going as we get older, or as this generation moves older? There will be no services available because the tax rate will not be. Yeah, there's not the taxable income unless you take everything that they have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's it's and like I said, the ramifications are further reaching even than just economic and stuff like that. And this book would just laid it all out, and I don't think people consider it at all. People do not consider it. Well,
I mean, that's a huge drop. Now we're talking about. There's 1,000 women of childbearing age, but you've got to think that it takes 2 people to make a child.
Right.
That means for every 4,000 people, only 62 children are being born.
Right.
There is no way that you can, in the future, ask 62 kids to take care of 4,000 people.
Right, yeah, it just doesn't work. Maybe it works in Common Core math. I'm not sure, but it certainly does not work in real world math. Mm-hmm.
I don't even think that Common Core could fix that. Right. I'm just saying, 60. Gosh, can you? I'm just blown away by that number when I saw it.
Right.
62 people, and you've got to stop and think that 62 people are going to be expected to take care of 4,000 other people.
Right. Yeah.
That is like leaving a child responsible for what? 75 parents?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, when they get old, just bring them in your house and take care of them.
Right. There's 2 books, V, that I'm coming up with, and I'm sorry, I can't remember. America Alone is one of them, and After America. Heck, folks, get them both. They're on sale everywhere. They've been out for a while. But I'm telling you what, excellent reads, and one of them specifically talks about that, the birth rates and stuff, and what effect that potentially is going to have. And like I said, lots of factual data and just great reads. He's a great guy. I love him when he hosts on different shows and stuff like that. He's got an interesting sense of humor that just fits me perfectly. But there's a shout out for him.
You mean Twisted?
Twisted.
Like a pretzel?
Twisted like Twisted Sister. A lot of people out in the audience don't know who that is, Bradley. Google that. You'll see.
No, I guarantee you Bradley knows who Twisted Sister is.
Put in Twisted Sister.
Have you
on
met
YouTube
his dad?
Pull up a couple of videos and prepare to be amazed.
Have you met his ultra-conservative father?
Oh, well, yeah, you're right. He probably does know about it.
He knows exactly who Twisted Sister is. I almost guarantee that.
We're not going to take it. Dee Snider. There we go. The thing I think that fools people about Dee Snider and Twisted Sister, and boy, are we getting off on a tangent here, but Dee Snider is very intelligent. So you may not always agree with him because he's very outspoken, but he's a very intelligent person. And I remember back in the 80s when he went and testified in front of Congress with his big hair, his rock and roll hair all curled and like Crystal Gale style length and stuff. But he goes in there and he's
curly blonde locks.
Yeah, and very, very intelligent person. And I like his sense of humor too as well, and the music. I'm a fan of the music. So
yeah.
Anyway,
Well,
where were we again? Going off on a tangent about Twisted Sister. You never know what we're going to talk about next.
Well, I'm hoping that's what makes us interesting is because you never know where we're going to go.
And quite frankly, folks, we are unscripted. We never know.
We really don't, folks. What you hear is what you get. I mean, this is who we are. Right. And we enjoy it that way.
Which is an absolute mess.
A train wreck.
Yes, I may be clinically insane. We're not sure. Some people would probably argue that I am. So
he has not been diagnosed.
Not diagnosed yet, nor am I on any medications for that. So.
And we won't even discuss me.
Yeah, well, okay. Yeah, okay. Moving right along. Hey, let's talk about Iran. We haven't talked about
Iran. Where? Where did we run to?
I ran so far away. Oh my God, another 80s song. Let's give props to that. Oh, what is the name of the group? I can remember the hair. It was crazy hair, progressive synth pop. Oh gosh, who did I ran? I ran so far away. Oh my God, I'm gonna start singing this song. Okay. Anyway, we're talking about Iran, the country. That's who we're talking.
Oh Lord!
Well, I'll tell you what. My mind is already kind of checking out. I think for the weekend. Oh Lord!
It's too early yet.
Part of the axis of evil, though. Iran. Remember, Bush called them that and was excoriated for calling them part of the axis of evil, along with who was it? North Korea, Iran, and who was the third one? V. Do you remember?
North Korea.
Iran. Huh. I
Iraq?
don't recall. Maybe it was Iraq. I don't know. I mean, it wasn't the Russians because at that time they were.
I think it was Iraq.
Iran was by a flock of seagulls. So there I'm
yes.
Kind of tangent again.
Oh Lord, we're in trouble.
Yeah.
Oh God! And now one of our Our thread chatters is saying it's flock of seagulls, and he's over there singing, and he is over there singing it as well.
It was awesome stuff. Oh God, I miss the '80s. They were so much different.
But do you know how many of our listeners don't even? They were born in the '80s.
Probably. I mean, the music was the best, folks. I'm just going to tell you, it was. Say what you want, but we didn't have any Justin Bieber and Miley Cyrus. That train
Wait a
wreck.
minute. Yeah, I'm gonna go you one better.
Uh-oh.
The 70s can hold their own as well.
The 70s, except for disco. Can we agree that disco was
No,
kind of an anomaly?
I enjoyed disco. I didn't enjoy the disco ball and the clubs and all that, but I enjoyed the music. And don't tell me you didn't, because I have seen your collection of Bee Gees, okay?
I love the Bee Gees, Barry Manilow. Am I putting that all out there right now? I mean, I have Barry Manilow's greatest hits, and I'll sing to that stuff.
Well, if you really want to hear it, I was a big fan of Leo Sayer.
Who's that?
Oh, my God.
I don't know who that is, but I know the Bee Gees. ABBA. I know ABBA. I know a couple more.
Oh, God. What's his name? The little geeky exercise guy? What's his name with the curly hair?
Oh, Richard Simmons.
Yes, everybody says that Leo Sayer looked like Richard Simmons.
Or does Richard Simmons look like Leo Sayer?
Yes, but he had an incredible voice.
Okay.
And he was the originator of the song When I Need You, that Celine Dion remade.
Oh, okay.
But, yeah, see, I'm giving away that I'm older than you. Good God, I'm in trouble. The gray hair is just like growing instantaneously.
Well, I'll be honest with you, V, and once again, we're way off on the tangent now, folks, but when I was growing up overseas, we totally, and I think part of my life is missing in a way because I totally missed the disco era. It was like we left, it happened, we came back, it was already gone, and I missed the whole disco era.
I've got to ask you, what was the first rap song?
Well, it wasn't Michael Jackson.
No, it was not.
You're putting
well,
me on
a
the
hip,
spot.
hop, a
Sugar
hip,
Hill
a
Gang?
hip,
No,
a hip, a hip. Yep. Rapper's Delight. Yeah, Rapper's Delight.
There you go. Oh, wow.
And what was considered the first rap song on MTV?
Oh, was that the one with Blondie?
Yes, it was Rapture.
Rapture with Blondie. Oh, I'm awesome. Let's play some Trivial Pursuit now. I'm ready. I'm feeling strong. Yeah, that's but our rap back then was different. It was fun. We had the Beastie Boys, we had Run DMC. They weren't, all talking about women and calling them hoes and drug deals and stuff like that. I mean, it was kind of fun and kind of a rock. Well, of course, Run DMC and Beastie Boys were huge with the whole rock crossover too. I think the Run DMC did it especially first when they crossed over with what's the name of the group? Aerosmith. Aerosmith and Run DMC even did that infamous or their famous video. What are videos? People are asking. Well, videos were big for a while there on MTV. MTV has nothing like videos anymore, and I wouldn't suggest watching MTV anymore. But it used to be one of the coolest channels around, and we spent a lot of time with that. But anyway, where were we at? We were going to talk about Iranian hackers.
MTV.
I do. Yeah, that's a good song too. Dire Straits, Brothers in Arms album. Oh,
exactly. But I remember when rap first came out by the Sugar Hill Gang, when they did Rapper's Delight, right. It was the biggest dance to that movement at the time was the electric slide. For God's sakes, that tells you anything. That's how different rap was then versus what rap is today.
Oh, it's not any.
Is that you could actually dance to it to a group dance called the electric slide.
Well, and you can actually play it in front of your parents and not worry about every other word being bleep, 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 bleep like that. I mean, or calling women hoes.
Well, let's be honest. A vast portion of this population lets their children listen to that garbage anyway without the bleeps.
Oh, no, exactly. Different time back then, it was.
But we were talking about Iran before we ran so far away.
And boy, did we ever. But we're getting back to them. Folks, they're hackers. They're talk about Rapper's Delight. They're Hackers' Delight. They took over control of airports in 3 countries, hacking their their systems, and those countries were South Korea, Saudi Arabia, and Pakistan, I think is how Hussein Obama says it. But I mean, these Iranians aren't messing around, and they said actually that some of the best hackers in the world, Russians are the most sophisticated and most capable. Chinese bring to bear staggering numbers of people and computers, and they figure Iran is probably between those two. So they U.S. Central Command Admiral William Fallon says they are pretty good and they are motivated, and of course they're dangerous. But of course they probably owe us a lot of payback. At some point they'll get to us, because didn't we, or was it Israel that did the Stuxnet virus, put it into their nuclear system to try to slow it down or mess up their whole nuclear capabilities and stuff like that? I forget if that was Israel that did it, or if it's just rumored that it was Israel or us that did it, and nobody really knows for sure. But I remember.
Well, according to the information that I have, Computer World reports that the IP address for which the attacks came were traced back to locations that had associations with Iranian state-owned oil and gas companies.
Right.
So I mean, it's not a speculation necessarily that it's the Iranians behind them. It's just a speculation whether or not it's government sponsored.
Right. Mm-hmm.
The report paints a picture of persistent, aggressive operations aimed at undermining vital components of nations' transportation systems, and highlights the growing danger that state-sponsored hacking poses to civilian infrastructure. And you've got to remember, it wasn't just within the past month that the United States has come forward and said our national grid is under threat of hacking at any given moment.
Right.
Now the question is, are they setting us up to shut us down? Are they setting us or preparing us for someone else to hack into our system? And let's face it, with this regime, it could be either way.
Mm-hmm. Certainly could. Certainly could. There's no doubt about it. And yeah, I do think we have vulnerabilities, and I think we have lots of vulnerabilities to our grid. And think about what that could mean on a daily basis, folks. Even if it wasn't an all-out attack and wasn't able to get all the different areas of infrastructure, electricity, water, all these different things. But just think about if they attacked one and even part of the United States was affected. I mean, especially like electric. Think about everything that would be, could bring us down in a day that we couldn't actually function or function very poorly. Can you imagine? I mean, the books have been written about this, movies have been made about things like this, and it's becoming a very real possibility in nowadays world with the internet connecting everyone throughout the world. All the computers and the technology that exists.
Well, what I found particularly interesting, you've got to think our World Trade Center was hit by airplanes, and what are they attacking? Air traffic.
Right.
And just think, if they were to gain control over the system in the United States, what kind of havoc and damage could they do by diverting planes, allowing them to run out of fuel, colliding them with one another? I mean, honestly, the repercussions are endless for the amount of damage that they could do, given the amount of air traffic that we have in the United States.
Right. Well, remember just a couple months ago, the person from the FAA, remember, they got in trouble and then started the one little building on fire, and that building, it created havoc throughout the United States because it was affecting Chicago. Chicago is one of the big hubs, and you had air traffic from one end of the United States to the other, and including overseas, that was indirectly and directly impacted by it. Just that. And that was for days. That was for several days. Can you imagine if they actually got in and did? I mean, it's mind-boggling, but that's the world we live in, and hopefully we've got people that are better than them and are able to, suppress what they're doing. But I mean, I think it's a very real possibility in the world as we go forward, and as we get more and more connected electronically. Everything is connected electronically and interconnected.
Well, exactly. Well, guys, it's been another great week with you guys. I want to make sure that you guys stick around with the Stallion Show, DJ Stallion following us tonight. I also want to remind you, we are here Monday through Thursday from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern. We love having you guys, and this is a live broadcast at those hours. Please call us. Send out our information. Let people know that, we are a caller participation show. Not only can you join our thread, you can join our websites, both at cprworldwidemedia.com or at thewtfradioshow.com, and you can call us at 313-462-0068. Again, that's Monday through Thursday from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Guys, make sure to stick around for the Stallion Show to follow. It's been a great week, and we will be back on Monday. Senor.
God bless you, folks. Thanks for being with us. We so much enjoy what we do, and we're glad you're along with us for the ride, and we will be back next week.
Night, folks.
Some saw the sun, some saw the smoke, some heard the gun, some bent the bow, sometimes the wire was tense for